What if the history of words isn't just about sounds drifting through time? What if, buried beneath centuries of change, there is a stable code, a logic based not on random sounds, but on the gestures those sounds represent? For generations, linguists have done remarkable work tracing how sounds evolve. But they've often overlooked a fundamental question. Why do certain combinations of sounds appear again and again in words that share a core idea? The answer requires a new method, one that starts where the sounds are most stable. The Semitic languages, Arabic, Hebrew, Aramaic, have preserved their consonant structures for millennia. This stability gives us a key. In these languages, each sound carries a tiny piece of meaning, a sem. The letters Q and R. Two semantic unit. Q, the deep uvular sound, means positioning, a precise point. R means tension, a force that holds or compresses. Together, they form an etymon, QR. What does it mean? It means to fix, to implant, to establish firmly. Now here is where this root becomes truly significant. The archaic root QR, meaning to fix, to implant, to establish, becomes immensely productive during the Neolithic period. Why? Because this is the moment when humanity undergoes a fundamental transformation. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans were nomadic. They moved with the seasons, following game and wild plants. Then, around 10 to 12,000 years ago, everything changed. Humans began to settle. They began to fix themselves to the land. They planted seeds. They fixed them in the earth. They built houses. They fixed their dwellings in place. They founded villages. They fixed their communities to a territory. They domesticated animals. They fixed herds within enclosures. This was not merely a change in lifestyle. It was a revolution in human consciousness, and language recorded it. Karra, to settle, became firm, settled, or established. Karya, to village, city, karb, to became near. Kara, to put it or drew it together. Karos, to press or squeeze or pinch. Kauros, to become intense, to become congealed or frozen. The root QR and GR captures this new reality. It encodes the act of fixing, whether a seed in soil, a house on the ground, a community on the land. Now, here is where the phonetic shift becomes visible. In Semitic languages, Q is a uvular sound. It is produced far back in the throat at the uvula. It is a deep, emphatic consonant. When this root passed into Indo-European languages, Greek, Latin, Sanskrit, a systematic shift occurred. The uvular Q moved forward in the mouth to become a velar sound, K. The point of articulation shifts from the uvula to the soft palate. This is not random. It is a regular phonetic transformation. The uvular Q of Semitic becomes the velar Gu of Indo-European. The R remains stable, so QR becomes GUR. The semantic core, fixation, implantation, establishment, remains intact. Only the pronunciation shifts. Now watch what happens when we follow this route across languages. In Arabic, qaryat, a village, QR, positioning fixed, a place where people fixed themselves to the land. In Sanskrit, grama, a village, the uvular Q has become velar Gu, but the meaning is identical, a community fixed in place. While the textbooks claim the origin of Grai is unknown, here a bold hypothesis. Gu-R in Grai Khoi is the phonetic twin of the Semitic QR, found in Karya, and Sanskrit Gur of Grama, marking the universal archetype of the village city and the definitive act of sedentarization. In Latin, ager, a field, the GR root again, a fixing place where you plant in the earth. From there, agriculture. Anchor, an object that fixes a ship to the seabed. Proto-Indo-European supposed root, ankh, ignores the R that is present in all forms. The reconstruction removes what the word actually contains, QR. Croc, a hook, an object that fixes itself by gripping. Crocus, no PIE root proposed, yet the QR pattern is visible and coherent. Latin, gravare, to engrave, to fix a mark permanently on a surface. Proto-Indo-European root greb, also to carve. Latin, gripare, Proto-Indo-European root gribe, to seize, to grip. Let me show you what this reveals. Take a word that has long puzzled linguists, migra, to migrate. The standard explanation offers a reconstructed root, mei, meaning to move. But that root is barely attested. It has no clear presence in Sanskrit or Avestan. It is a reconstruction built on thin evidence. Now look at the word itself, migrare. What do you see? It contains GR, the velar variant of QR, the root of fixation. So what is migrare? Its deep meaning is not to move, it is to refix, to establish oneself in a new place. The Romans didn't simply move, they left one home to fix themselves in another. The word describes a change of fixation, not a journey. The movement is implied, but the semantic heart is the act of implanting. This is a concept that only exists after sedentarization, when humans have a fixed place to leave and another to join. This is what happens when we take the stable phonetics of Semitic as our guide. We see the phonetic shift. Uvular Q becomes velar gu. We see the historical context. QR, gu R, explodes in productivity during the Neolithic, encoding the new reality of sedentarization. And we stop projecting modern notions onto ancient words. We start seeing what the words themselves are doing. Linguistics has spent centuries tracing where words have been. It's time to ask what they were doing there. It shows that language encodes the major transformations of human consciousness uvular Q produced at the uvula, far back in the throat, associated with depth, interiority, localization, velar gu or K produced at the soft palate, still in the back of the mouth. A forward shift, but retains the zone of articulation. The physical production of these sounds in the back of the mouth may be linked to the concepts they encode: positioning, fixing, establishing. Body-mind connection. Language is not purely abstract. The articulation itself carries traces of the cognition it expresses, and the grapheme Q derive from the Proto-Sinaitic pictogram representing a skull and R from a head in profile.